So the next roll up hack that we're going to play with is a barrel. Any size barrel would work. I love the 4-inch barrel, which would be also considered a quarter barrel. You could also, at home, if you don't have access to a barrel, you could use a quilt. I particularly love a king size quilt, and I do have that on the floor, and I will show it after this. So you can do all of the same things that you've done to prepare yourself without any prop. So you can do your bent leg, you can press your feet into the wall, you can have your hands back behind your legs, and you can also use a TheraBand. You can pad yourself with washcloths or grippy pads if you're in a studio. So you can do all of those things here, maybe minus the pad, because the pad itself is going to be your quarter barrel. So there are two different ways that you can do this one. You can line your seat up right behind or right in front of your barrel, and then you can have a nice bent leg. You can go back to that original position where you're holding onto the back of your legs, and you're simply just going to walk yourself back down and find your barrel on your back, and then you're just going to curl yourself forward, trying to keep your feet exactly where they are. So you just get to roll back, and you can even take your hands away, and you get to roll forward. So when you have something like this, you might need a grip pad underneath. If you're at home and you feel things are sliding around, if you don't have a barrel but you have a quilt, you can get some cabinet lining that's really sticky, and you can place that underneath. Just cut a square and keep it handy. So here's the nice thing about the barrel and what you'll see with the quilt here in a minute. I can straighten my legs. You could place them against the wall if you have the right positioning, and you can come back and you can come up, and you can play with your straight leg, and maybe you're round over. Because we haven't talked that much about the rounding over the legs. We've only talked about how to go back and how to get yourself back up. Once you're up, it's easier to come over and practice, and you can practice this part anytime without a lot of strain. So when you have a barrel like this, you can even play with some extension, and you can come up, and then you can work your back into this barrel while you're here. So you'll tuck your chin, and if it's too much for you, you can take your hands behind your head and bring yourself up to the upright curl, and then you can come back up. So if you go into extension, even over your quilt, you want to make sure that you can get up without straining yourself. So I'm pressing my tailbone down into the mat so that it's in opposition to my forehead or to my top of my head. And then I'm going to curl up. I'm going to press as much of my back into this barrel to reach and come up, and then I can come over. So let's see what that looks like with the quilt.